Good to go.
Hi, I'm Jenny Williams with Get a Real Estate Life Coaching Program, and welcome to 60 Minutes to Six Figures. We love doing our Google Hangout on the second Monday of every month, and thank you for your patience. We're running a little bit behind schedule today because you never know what you're going to get with technology. It is so wonderful that we get to come together across the country, but sometimes we might have a little bit of difficulties. And right now we are waiting for our special guest to join us, but I want to give you a little bit of information about what you're going to learn today by spending this 60 minutes with us. You're going to get excellent tips and strategies for creating a breakthrough business plan for 2015. Business plans do not have to be complicated. So I'm going to give you some steps that you really need to consider as you're building your plan for next year, and then we're going to discuss how to actually stay focused on that, because as real estate agents, you know, the prerequisite for getting your real estate license is having ADD. So that means you're going to be chasing lots of bunnies and everything that comes out of the gate just to see if it works in your business, and we're just not going to allow you to do that this year. We want you to stay focused so that you will achieve the goals that you're setting for yourself. First of all, while we're waiting on our special guest to join us, I definitely want to introduce you to one of my favorite people, Matt Johnson with Viral Marketing. Hey, Matt.
Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for monitoring everything for us today. You always do such a great job.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Yeah, and if you don't know about Viral Marketing, Viral sets up these Google Hangouts for us every single month, and they do the graphics for us. They send out our emails for us. They take care of everything, so I don't have to worry about it. And the agents in our coaching program that are using Viral are actually selling houses from the follow-up plans that Viral puts together for them. If you're a very busy agent and you have a lot of leads coming in, sometimes it can be really hard to get back with everybody. Well, Viral does that for us. So I thank you for everything that you do for us, Matt.
Thank you. You're welcome. I appreciate the shout out.
Well, good. Well, you know, while we're waiting for Paige Patterson to join us, Paige works at Lake Homes Realty at a second home market in Alex City at Lake Martin in Alabama, and it is one of the best lakes in all of Alabama. It's a very exclusive area, and Paige actually started in that market last year. And we kind of have helped her through her first year. She was the #1 agent in all of Birmingham in her target market that she worked within the city, and starting over in a new market can be quite challenging. She joined us for business planning sessions last year, so we're going to hear input from her about what she learned last year. She built her business plan, what she actually achieved, and what she has done business planning wise this year, and how she's going to stay focused on it. So hopefully she'll be able to join us soon on the call, so you can actually hear from her as well. Want to talk to you about the first step in building a business plan. Again, it doesn't have to be anything that's complicated, and the more complicated you make it, the less likely you are to achieve any of the goals that you set for yourself. So make it easy on yourself. Don't, you know, provide a 20-page outline of what you're going to accomplish. Many times, 1 or 2 pages is just fine. And if you have to have more information in order to clarify what you want to do, that's probably where a lot of the energy needs to go. One of our agents, Frida Williams, that we work with, who actually earned 6 figures in the first 6 months of this year. She is just incredible. She said, you know, when you sit down for business planning, she said, and you say, okay, write your goals, that can be a bit intimidating because, you know, I don't know where to start. I don't know, you know, what I'm going to achieve. I don't know what is realistic. I know what I did this year, but do I want to work as hard or work harder? So some clarification is needed. And really, you know, Matt, where I think the best place to start with that is, you know, figuring out what you learned from last year. Mm-hmm. You know, what really worked for you in 2014 and what didn't work. and why didn't it work? Like the why behind it does and the why behind it doesn't. Because you may be able to tweak some of the things that didn't and make them better. But if you have a whole lot of business from things that did work, then scratch the stuff that didn't. If it's not in your style, then get rid of it. Make everything easier on yourself by using your talents and working in the areas that are easier for you. What do you say about that, Matt? Would you agree?
Yeah, in fact, that's something that I've been going through with my regular coaching clients, is taking them through the process of really thinking through what's working in their marketing, what has worked up until this point, what's not working, and what their frustration is, and figure out, is there a way that we can really double down on the things that are working, enhance those things with what we do for them anyway, and but it also exposes and helps them think about their business in a certain way, and it really. And you know this as much as anyone, it's easy to get caught up working in the business that you forget to kind of take a step back and figure out, I'm spending thousands and thousands of dollars on marketing. What's actually bringing in the business? And that's part of what I've been taking clients through, is that process. And then how can we help supplement what is working to make it more effective?
Okay, and I love that. That is exactly what I'm talking about. Really figuring out lessons learned, what worked, what didn't, and really analyzing the year to figure out what your best lead sources are. Just like what you said, so that you can put your time, your energy, all that talent into your best lead sources. And I don't want you to be misled by thinking that because you have more leads from a certain lead source, that's a better lead source for you. Just because you have a ton of leads coming in does not matter. I want to know where your closed transactions came from, so that we can put your time and energy toward those same, because you're already doing something right, and let's stay focused on that instead of reinventing the wheel and trying to come up with something new every time, or how to make something that didn't work when you probably just need to scratch it altogether. So I would say step 1, lessons learned. Step 2, really take a look at those lead sources and find out what's actually closing you business, just like what Matt said as well. It's going to also help you from chasing those rabbits or those squirrels that come by. And as real estate agents, we all love a good squirrel going by. We want to, look at every shiny object and gadget. And Matt, we get 20 phone calls a day trying to sell us on the latest and greatest stuff.
Yes, you do.
And we don't need most of it.
Right.
In fact, we don't need to spend a whole lot of money to make a lot of money in this business. That's the best part of what we do.
It is, yeah, and that's what's funny about it is, working with some of the partners that we have, some of the other, just the high flyers in the business, you realize that when you actually dig into their marketing, they don't have a ton of sources that actually account for all their business. So they have 3 or 4 really, really good ones, and they've learned how to go deep on those few sources, and then they really work on just improving how they take those existing leads and convert them and get them to appointments and turn the appointments into closed transactions. And so it's it's very, very easy, and I see a lot of clients get attracted by all the all the sales things and all the marketing materials that they do get for the other products that are out there. But and there's nothing wrong with trying new things, but just be very selective about what you try and make sure that it fits into your plan. If you don't have a plan, you need to have one, because it's really important not to get distracted by those shiny objects. So, yeah, what's Jenny, when you work with a client, like what's your process of taking them through their maybe their year in review, and how can they get better at tracking those things so that they can come to you with that information on what is their best lead source, what actually leads to closed transactions?
Well, I think as far as the process beginning, I always pull their closed transactions myself and figure out if they're better on the buyer side or on the seller side. And then I ask what they love about each one. Because I have some agents that absolutely cannot stand taking a listing. And the industry gives you so much pressure that listings, 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 that they almost feel embarrassed that they love buyers and only want to work with buyers. And I tell them, forget it. If that's where your passion is, then find a referral source, and let's put 3 names on here right now. Because if you don't put your action items in and get clear about that and make your phone calls, a lot of times I'll pick up the phone and call them myself right then and say, would you mind being a referral partner for this agent? You know, she needs somebody to refer the listings to because she doesn't want to work them. She only wants to stay focused on working with buyers. So that's kind of the first process that we do, and then try to figure out, okay, and I have forms for all of this, Matt. Then, you know, figure out, all right, you know, where did this closed transaction come from? Where did this one come from? Where did this one come from? A lot of, you're going to see, too, of recurring things. You're going to see referrals.
Okay.
And you're going to see internet leads.
Okay.
Those are 2 big ones, and then the rest are going to be sprinkled in, and maybe it is from like Arch Telecom or you know, an IVR system, or maybe we're going to see a sign call, or open houses. You know, the other things are going to be sprinkled in, but mostly you're going to see internet leads, and then we have to break down, okay, from where. You know, are you closing from Zillow? Are you closing from Trulia? Are you closing from your personal website? You know, where are you actually getting the leads that are closing? And let's say you're sitting on, maybe you're one of the lucky people that are sitting on over 50 sales. And then we have to take it a step further and say, okay, what's your average sales price for each one of these? Because if my average sales price is higher with, you know, one or the other, then maybe I need to get rid of the expenses with one of these. You don't have to be at all places. You just don't have to be everywhere. Don't live under that pressure. And then we want to invest our time and energy into the one that is more our ideal client. I think that's key. You know, of choosing who you really want to work with and who you're passionate about helping in 2015, because that's going to leverage you into more clients all day long. If you agree to go to work for somebody that you just know in your heart you're just doing it for $1 because you're not excited about helping them, they're going to see right through it, and you're never going to get a referral from that.
Yes. And if you did, it's just a referral most likely to another type of the same person that you don't necessarily want to work with. Amen. So the more that you spend time working with the people that you really are passionate about working with, those are the people that are going to refer you. But birds of a feather flock together. They're going to tend to refer you to more people that you want to work with.
Yeah, or they're going to talk bad about you and say, you know what, they weren't even really helpful or engaged at all. I had to do all the work, and that is so not what you're working for. So if you can get clear about anything in 2015, that's not even really one of the steps, but I want you to say, okay, what gets me excited? What wakes me up before my alarm clock? Who is that person? What do they look like? What price range are they in? You know, what kind of credit scores do they have to have? Or maybe they're cash only. You know, really identify who that person is, so you can say, you know, that's not my ideal. That's not my expertise. You know, I'll give that to someone else. So, you know, I just get excited about this and go blah, 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 you know, babble.
I love it. That's all right. There's passion.
Well, it is only because there's a better way. And what I want to get across is we have to stop doing accidental business. And do business purposely. You know, it really doesn't take that much effort. Sometimes you probably just haven't thought about it. You might just need a little bit of direction on what that means, being purposeful instead of accidental. And I met with an agent this past Friday, and we worked out, okay, exactly how many appointments you have to get before January 1st, how many you have to get in the month of January, so that we end up hitting where we need to be in November of next year. It's not really that difficult either. It's just planning ahead and knowing. And you know what? She's already gotten a lot of the appointments that she's supposed to have now before the end of this year for January. Okay, that means she's going to hit January exactly where she needs to be and probably a little bit ahead. And instead of waiting January 15 to go, oh my God, what are my goals this year? So, which I get it, I understand, right? While we're still waiting on Paige to join us, and I know she's probably really upset that she is not being able to connect. Sometimes when you are in lake areas, internet is not always our friend. So Mitchell, our IT director, our technology director, is helping her now, hopefully to join us soon. So one of the things I want to make sure that we end up discussing is really getting clear on a few goals that you want to do. And I always like to say flat out income, because you usually don't have to think about that. You usually are going to be, dead on what you want to achieve, and it's probably going to be better than it was last year. For a lot of our clients, they walk in and they say, I really want to double what I did last year. For instance, I had a client that came in, and Matt, you're working with them. Okay. Jamie Reynolds and Josh Vernon with the Josh Vernon Group. And, yep. Josh said last October, last November, he's like, okay, I've closed 54 this year, and I want to double that. And they're closing number 100 this week. So wow. We are right there, so close, and they have another 9 pending after that. But Jamie wrote 3 offers yesterday. So we're going to be right hitting the nail on the head with that. Yeah. But again, that's being purposeful, and that's saying this is what I want to achieve. It's either the number of transactions that you want to achieve, getting really clear, or it's, hey, I want to make $150,000 this year, or I want to make $500,000 in income this year. And then we can back that out. So the difference with that, Matt, and here I am, talking like crazy. I just,
That's good, though.
Matt, with working with me, I'm all about making sure if somebody spends their time with me, they're getting really good value.
Yes.
So you don't just want to put, okay, here's the goal, I want to do it. Because we can dream, we can throw out $500,000 all day long, that's what I want to make. But if you don't have your action items in place on how you're going to get there, then you might as well just, get a wishbone and carry it around with you, because you're done. You're toast. And please don't share it with anybody, because you're going to be highly embarrassed that you don't hit it.
Yeah, and it goes back to knowing your numbers and knowing your lead conversion is so important, because then when you go to make your next set of goals, if you don't have any idea how you convert the leads that are already coming in, you really have no idea what you have to do to get to that next goal. Right. You can set a goal for a number of transactions, whether it's another 25 or whether you want to do double what you did this year, but if you have no idea how you're converting the leads you're getting, you have no idea how many extra phone calls, how many more referrals, how many extra leads you have to get from Zillow or Trulia to even know how to get that number of deals. And it's so important to track that and really know, what your numbers are. Otherwise, you're going to really be left in kind of a situation where you don't really know what to do to get to the goals that you're saying that you want to get to.
Right. And maybe part of that is if you've got 100 leads that are coming in on the internet, but you're only converting maybe 3 of those, then maybe your process needs to be tweaked, and your scripts and dialogues, or probably your response time.
Yeah.
Right. So then we can kind of break down from there of actually what's going on. Again, I want to bring this up because I feel it's so important. Just don't live under that fallacy. I'll have so many people continue to spend thousands of dollars in lead generation every single month just because they're like, I get hundreds of leads from that. But if you don't have, the time to follow up, or you're not converting anything, you have to let that go. That is pretty much just writing checks to throw in the trash.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. I mean, you're essentially just lowering your profit for no reason.
Well, and you are. And and again, real estate agents, we're all very optimistic people. One day I'm going to get to there and convert those. But pretty much when that lead becomes old, after that first day, that conversion gets harder and harder unless you've got the most awesome follow-up plan of anybody on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about 10 days of pain. So,
Okay.
for instance, like I'm going to break down a goal for you.
Okay.
Let's say you want to make $100,000 this year. Then your action items from there, because we've got to take it from action item, okay, because you're probably going to have like maybe 5 action items. And then those action items are going to go on the calendar, because until they get onto your weekly calendar and your daily habits, then you're not going to see fruition of anything that's going to be different or happening in life. Look at that!
Hey, we have Paige.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Thank you.
All right, so let me please introduce, and I'll get back to the action items in a minute, but let me please introduce one of my dear friends and agents that we've been coaching together now for a year. She is at Lake Martin. Paige Patterson, welcome to the Google Hangout.
Hey, everybody.
So glad you were able to join us.
Yes.
We've kind of gotten through several of the steps of business planning, but I really wanted your perspective on this because you not only started over in a brand new market where you were number one and done in the target market you were working in, and you went into the unknown because you're so bold, and you went through business planning last year, made some goals. You know, you really had a killer year of growth, and we're going to talk about that. Now you've just gone through business planning again, and wow, the difference from last year to this year. So tell us what it looked like for you last year when you went through this process.
Well, when I left, I knew it was great info. I knew it was good step-by-step structure, which I had needed and had never really had to this degree. And honestly, it was a realization that I knew that I could and what I would do, and a huge relief that I didn't have to do everything. I knew that I could focus on the things that I was good at, and you know, try to, like you said, start in a new market and really be successful on a shoestring budget.
Well, and that's true, because I mean, you pretty much picked up and said, okay, this is going to happen.
Yes.
So what were some of the goals that you set last year?
Well, I wanted to meet a gazillion people. I wanted to do things that would make a big impact with, like I said, not a lot of money. I really wanted to have 20 transactions at an average of $420,000 average. And I had all that written down, and I can't find it right now because we started in the middle.
Oh, you're fine. Okay.
Oh, I know. I wanted. My huge thing was you really emphasized how small things happen, like handwritten notes. I wanted to write like 450 handwritten notes the first part of the year. I wanted to time block. I wanted to meet every single person in my new town, whether it was a business person, whether it could be a consumer, whether it could be somebody who lived here 50 years ago. I wanted to do a ride-along with the Alabama Power Management Shoreline. I mean, just, you know, I had a lot of learning to do, plus a lot of selling to do. And your plan really helped me know that there was a place and a time for all of that throughout the year.
Well, and what I just helped you do was helped you put action items together on your plan. On the things you wanted to accomplish. So, and what you really wanted to, and for you, hanging out with us on the Google Hangout, Paige is excellent at networking and building relationships, and she has a B&I background, but she was in a market where she didn't know anybody yet. So we made a plan for her, and the reason I'm sharing with you is that this makes it come alive, so you'll know what year to year looks, you know, and how it looks differently whenever you're planning. But we made a plan for her to go out and meet people who own businesses so that she could stay in her skills and talents.
Yes.
And, you know, what do you feel like you added to your business that didn't work?
I tried Zillow and realized that I'm more of a relationship referral person rather than a online internet stranger start. I tried to do, which was a really good idea, sunset cruises, where I showed people by boat year-round. And while that sounds really nice, I don't know that when we got out in the cold and in the rain that was as good of an opportunity as, just in the summer and the spring where it works beautifully when the weather is great. So those are a couple of things that I'm going to tweak a little bit this year.
Good, because you've taken a look to see, right? The best thing about the sunset cruises is that it's a good hook, right? So the experience probably wasn't as good, but it was a good attractor factor to be able to build a relationship with somebody.
And that's why I'm going to keep it. That, you said it perfectly, is the difference between year 1 and year 2. I'm going to keep it because what it did was every door direct mail out was an awesome opportunity to let people know that I did it. My expectations were that all 100,000 people I sent that to were wanting to come board the boat in November. Maybe not the case, but the idea is there. The front part of the goal is there, and now we'll just do it. We'll just fine-tune it year 2.
Okay, so what did you end up accomplishing in, based on those goals, what did you end up closing and accomplishing that you felt, met them or exceeded them this year?
Well, I told you I had 2 goals. I wanted to keep it simple, 20 transactions at $420,000 average. And one thing that I realized while thinking about this is you set goals like that, what we need to not be so hard on ourselves about is that it's going to take all year to achieve those goals. So don't get discouraged or revamp in June and July because your goal hasn't happened. So I think I didn't make the 20 transactions, but I am so loaded at exactly $420,000 average price range that I consider that a huge accomplishment.
Well, and that is way up an average sales price over what your previous business had been.
Absolutely. Huge. 3 times bigger.
We tease Paige now that she's a high roller.
Which, if anybody is out there that knows me knows that is a joke. But, it's a fun mindset.
Well, but you are accepting and work with anybody who's interested. So
that's right. That's right.
Okay, so definitely the average sales price was up, but I feel like you had such a successful year because everybody knows you're in that market now, and I feel like based on the budget that you did that very inexpensively, inexpensively.
Yes. Well, part of that, Jenny, is taking a concierge approach. Through Mastermind, when we heard Simon T. Bailey talk about this as a relationship and a connection era that we are living in, that is a huge part of it. I realized in this new market and price range that it's real important to know how much your customers cost at the end of the transaction. Because just because you're closing something does not mean that you are successful in 2015. So when I realized how much each client was costing by the time that we sold, I wanted to really focus on inconveniencing myself and my time rather than the client, maybe spending more time with them where they are comfortable and where they don't have to inconvenience themselves and do less driving around and spending time on gas and spend more on education. So I think that is a huge thing that I'm going to take into this year is that concierge approach that everybody is really looking for. And I realized how much, I took a true look at my database and looked at it with a second-tier set of eyes, where in my database before was, oh, these people have either bought or sold from me. Now I think that we as experienced agents need to take a step back with those names and those people and look at them differently and who they know and what their jobs are and where we can influence and affect the people that they know. I may have heard that a million years being in sales for, I don't know, forever, but it's just different in 2015, and with the steps that business planning gives us, it lets your mind expand and think about things a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and especially because you're in a different era as well. So those are kind of taken, to me, that was taking the goal, and those are action items that you talked about. One of the ways, and Matt, you're going to love this because the two of y'all now have just met, but one of the ways that Paige is really now known, I mean, people really know her and associate her. I was in a meeting this morning with about 15 agents, and I said, did y'all see Paige's video yesterday about deeded boat ramps? And I mean, most of them in the room goes, oh yeah, I did. She has, and the reason Matt's going to love this is because Viral does a lot of this, is that she has become an expert in her market through video and through, doing very quick videos on her phone, and people get really excited about it, and it's very educational, and she is letting us experience the lake through, her experience with customers and her knowledge and things that she's learning. So she is a household name at Lake Martin.
Thank you.
I love it.
Yes,
Hey guys, we've got a Q&A application. So if you guys are watching and you want to ask Jenny or Paige any questions, the Q&A app is over on the left-hand side. You can click that and you can type in your question, and I will bring it to their attention just kind of in the flow of things. So if you have a question for them, shoot, we'd love to answer it.
Okay. Well, Paige, if it's okay, I'm going to get back to talking about finishing up the thought that I was talking about whenever we got to get you on the Hangout, which we were so happy. And about that is like when you get really clear about your goal, and let's say you want to make $100,000 a year, and we've got to have those action plans put in place and then put on the calendar, which, excuse me, star student, you got on the calendar. Love that you got that done. And in fact, just to have proof, I have her entire year all right here planned out and calendared of everything that she's going to achieve next year, which helps us, and not only helps her, she is ahead of the game for next year, but it helps us as a coaching team because we know what marketing projects that we need to have ready for her in June. I mean, we can have them designed now. They're ready to go. That way, any last-minute tweaks or any last-minute thoughts, we can fix it. And the best part is that I can hold Paige accountable to these goals and these action items that she's putting on her calendar. So, excuse me, star student, very proud of you. Thank you. So, taking those action items back, you want to make $100,000. Okay, what does that look like? Are you going after listings or are you going after buyers? Okay, so if we get the listings, normally, if you like to take listings, then we need to know, all right, exactly how many of those do we need to go get so that the buyers will come from that. And you can base that on a 50-50. You can base it on, I have some agents that say, I'm not working with a buyer ever. I'm never going to do that. I only want to focus on listings. Okay, so then we've got to figure out, the game plan here. If I need to go get 50 listings for the year at an average sales price, right, then how am I going to go and get that? I need to know what it's going to take because I'm not going to win every business I go after. Okay, just not going to do it. And if you tell yourself that you are, then you're only setting yourself up for disappointment. And again, I want you to have that power, Paige, you hear me say that all the time, of saying, we are not a fit. This is a divorce situation that's a short sale, and you're purposely not going to make this sale. I can't make this happen for you. So, right, next is our operative word, and that's going to be one that we're not going to take. So I need to know exactly how many appointments it is going to take me to be able to get to those 50. All right, and then we deduce that down, and we stay very focused on how many per week we're going to need. And everything else about your business plan, pretty much, is getting those appointments.
Yes.
And then it's done. I mean, that's all it is. I want to make this income, and I want to make it working with this ideal client, and this is what it's going to take per week, and every other decision that I make in my business, the money that I spend, the energy, the time, the appointments on my calendar, everything is going to be, is this going to get me the number of appointments per week that I need?
Mm-hmm. And Paige, I'm curious.
Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, Paige, how does that make you feel? How does that clarity feel to go into the new year and know that it pretty much just comes down to where do those appointments come from? What do you need to get those, and really getting clear about your goals?
Yes. Well, first year I was like, woo, we'll see if that works. And Gina talks about some people just join just to prove her wrong. And I was like, I wasn't quite doing that, but I was at a loss and knew I needed some help. So I'm like, all right, we're going to shoot it out there and we're going to try it. I know now, going into 2015, that this plan is completely infallible. The only one that can screw it up is me not doing what I said I wanted to do. I mean, we've got a huge support network of other realtors that are out there doing the same thing, being CEOs, CFOs, COOs, in charge of marketing and public relations and all this kind of thing. The main way that we screw up as agents is we think that our business is going to be so great, and then we're surprised when we get busy. And we have messed up if we haven't taken a minute to sit there and plan it all out, be prepared for success. So that's how I feel about it. Like I got it all laid out. I got my calendar. Jeannie's got it. You just heard that it's out there, and now it's my time to execute.
Well, and ladies and gentlemen, that is what you call accountability. And she just said the only person that can mess this up is me. Her business is her responsibility. Now, it's also her responsibility to put the right people and support, systems in place, and the customer service aspect of it for, her clients. And she's doing that. Are we going after 25 marketing action items for 2015 in her business? We are not. We've got a couple of hooks that we're implementing for this year, and we're going to take those things that she just excels in, and it's better than most other people at doing, and she's staying focused on that, using those couple of hooks that we're implementing into her business, and everything is about her getting those appointments. And Paige, how many? Right now, you've recently taken a $1.9 million listing. That starts in January? Or it starts now?
It should be live in the Birmingham MLS later this week.
Awesome. Okay. And you also have a $1.7 million listing.
January 1st.
Okay. And this is all because you have really been, I'll use Matt's term here, deepening your intention on where your business is coming from. And that's the difference that I'm trying to make sure that we get across, of being on purpose and accidental. So your average sales price is going to go way up when these listings sell, because you're being on purpose again. You're not leaving it to chance and just throwing it up and hoping that you're going to have success for this year. You're being very intentional about it, and I think that's the difference. What were your takeaways from this business planning this year and moving forward?
Well, I took away that it is fun to be plugged in. When I was in the city, I, for some reason, thought that my colleague realtors were competitors, and that I didn't want to really share anything that I was into or whatever. But this community, Get a Real Estate Life, is so supportive and so helpful, and I'm talking about from one neighborhood to the other. You can benefit from each other. Another thing is that, for me personally, I want to work on getting a professional staff. I need an assistant and possibly office space. So again, I can't just wake up one day in March and make that happen. That has to be a huge part of what I'm talking about and working on even today. And I really have to stress that what happens in January, March, and June does not equal December. We've got to stop being hard on ourselves as agents when it doesn't all happen the first quarter. Hang in there till the very end. And what's cool about what you said, if you focus on things that you're really good at and that you enjoy doing that's going to get you business, you will have so much fun. I have had so much fun this past year. In my hardest year ever, I look back and have been like, "Ooh, I could have whined a little bit about that or this," but instead, with help and push along in the right direction and deepening it, there was a reason that I was doing these things that I'm good at and have fun at, and you know, and I mean, I'm like, "Ooh, that really worked." So I know confidently I can go into just keep doing the right things, and it's going to be more fun than ever.
Well, Paige, and that's a good point to jump in because we have a question from Daniel Worthington asking, if you're comfortable, can you tell us exactly what you did to generate your business in a new market? What are those right things that you did? What are the individual tactics that you took that actually got you to hit the ground running in a completely new market?
Jenny made me have 5 new business appointments every week. So I needed to know who the insurance person was. I knew who everybody who owned a marina was. Mortgage people, restaurateurs, little boutiques, gym membership. I mean, everybody. If they weren't sitting down with somebody already, I wanted to shake their hand, give them my business card, and set up an appointment. We also had some creative things like, how can I pull people to get in the car with me? And it was a lot of kind of going back to that concierge stuff. I would say, when can I come to your office? When can I come to your house? And just any tiny, minute way that I could put the inconvenience on myself, not them. I wanted to meet them. Did some creative stuff. Jenny came up with the idea that I needed to have a fundraiser in the next 2 weeks, with something that pertained to my market. So there is a huge organization down here, Children's Harbor, and a lot of their big donors live in Birmingham. Well, there is a shop in Homewood, Siebel's. Hope you guys support it. It's a great store that sells lake furniture and lake art. So we had a fundraiser in Birmingham for Children's Harbor that's at Lake Martin. And that was kind of like the clincher for the turnaround in the beginning of the year, because it was really, in my mind, a way to link these two places together. I helped local business because they catered the event here at Lake Martin, but were able to be in front of all the Birminghamers. So that was a big one. It's just every door direct mail out. I have really think that we're going back to direct mail, and it makes total sense. Email. It's just noise. Video email, not so much, but you cannot just send out something that everybody else that afternoon is. But if you'll just be creative, be funky, be a little cheesy if you need to be, which all those videos are, but just
they are fun.
They're fun, and they will. It's fun. So just step out of your comfort zone. Whatever your comfort zone is, just tiptoe out this afternoon, and you can get some business that way.
Well, and Daniel, just to even take that further, a lot of the leverage that she has gotten is, I love Lake Martin and doing her videos on Facebook. They have just caught on like wildfire, and people just enjoy them. They look forward to seeing them. That is probably one of the best things that she has implemented all year. Then I would say going out and meeting the small business owners. Paige is great at building relationships, and so she had to go out and meet the people where they are. I mean, they can't leave their businesses, so she now knows people who, sell furniture down there. She was saying, she knows the insurance people. She knows the people who own the marinas. She knows. She even took a boat safety class. She was getting in the know of people that are there and work there. Now, I want to give you also real life, because things happen to everybody that can completely mess up your plans. The most awesome thing with this Children's Harbor party that she was talking about and I'm answering this for you, Daniel, is that they sent out the invitations to their database with Paige's name on it. Phenomenal opportunity. In Birmingham, where we normally have 70-degree weather, it snowed the day of the party.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, sorry to bring back some painful memories there, but and this is life. Okay, is that a failure? Not as many people were there because the schools shut down and everybody was in a mad panic because this was right after what had already happened with our ice storm. So, I mean, people were truly in a panic, and they were not. I mean, I drove down several miles to get there, and nobody was on the road. I mean, nobody. But I wouldn't call it a failure. I would call it life, because I think it still was an excellent opportunity. And she teases me about saying in 2 weeks you're going to do this, because if you have time to think about things sometimes, then you won't get them done. So I'm all about jump in, get it done, we'll live with whatever happens, and we'll move forward and learn from it. And that's why Paige is so awesome to talk about this, because she gets into action and she takes care of it. So I wanted to give you both sides, because we all have those things that we're so excited about, and then life happens and we're like crushed. I had one of these events one time that took 20 minutes because of technical difficulties, and 60-something people were on the call, and all I could think of is, I'm letting all of these people down. How embarrassing. Nobody cared. They just hung up.
Yeah.
So we learn from it, and we move on. This year your action items are different on what you're going to be implementing. So do you want to share what your action items are this year? Just a few of them.
Well, I have a theme for every month, so that might be something that you want to do. Like January is launch. Some of the things that I'm doing in January is sending out my just sold and my just or coming soon cards. I'm going to the boat show in January. I've never been to that before. I'm not going to partake this year. I'm going to go and check it out and see how I can kill it next year. In September is my realtor referral appreciation party that I hope you all get to come to. Yeah, so like
snowstorm.
That's right. Don't say that or we will. But we're doing Siebel's again, but I'm so excited about Siebel's because people felt so sorry for us that they didn't get to come because of the snow craziness, that I'm going to pour on the guilt. We're going to bump it back a month in April where hopefully we won't have any snow. I mean, again, just the confidence the second year around after real estate coaching, you see that, oh, well, some of those things I did first time around just for a learning curve. Now I'm going to go out and absolutely kill it. I've already said that, we're going to do sunset cruises, but we're going to do it in a short window of time and be better prepared about everyone else's calendars and that kind of thing. So it's building on and expanding from last year's goals.
And really going after listings.
Yes.
Because one of the things that Paige does really well is that she does a great job at promoting houses that she puts on the market. And so this is just one of her skill sets. And she gets out and meets people and will hunt down people that it could be a possibility for. So having more of an inventory is really important this year.
Yes. Well, and you talk about hunting down. I literally do kind of have to hunt people down here because 50% of the houses are, second homes, so it's not easy to get, go knock on their door because they're not here half the time, or even just call courthouse, retrieval and find out where they are, because our system isn't like that. So I want people in different markets to learn to appreciate things that you might just assume are there. Number one, if you work in an area where realtors are friendly and helpful and will rally around you and your office and your listings, don't ever take that for granted and use that resource that you have the person next door to you in your office, your association, those kind of things. I don't know. Just there is nothing keeping you from killing it between you and December 2015 than just setting yourself short. You can do anything. Oh.
And I agree. And now you've got it calendared out, and that's step 5. Step 5 is putting it on your calendar and making sure that you can pull it up to say, what am I supposed to be doing today, and actually getting that done. Because it's not normally the action part that hangs people up. It's the what action to get done.
Yes.
So whenever you have the goal, the action items, and they get put on your calendar, there is absolutely no way to stop you from succeeding. So you've got all of yours planned out for the whole year, and what that's actually going to do is we review that each week before it happens. Is it's going to stop you from chasing bunny trails, and it's going to keep you focused on what's important. Okay, so when you get that phone call of, hey, the latest, greatest thing that ever happened, and it's only this, and hey, it only takes 2 closings to cover it, then what do you say?
Not on my plan, Jenny.
Thank you. Okay, and that's where I feel like a lot of us as agents struggle staying focused. But if you're not clear about the goals, if you don't have your action items done, and if you don't have them calendared, you can't stay focused. So you can't really beat yourself up over anything because you never really made a plan anyway. You made a wish. And, I'm all about wishes too. But the difference from, wishing is the calendar piece. And it will keep you focused, and have an accountability partner, whether it is a spouse, which is not very fun, but you could have that, or somebody in your office, or somebody in one of the groups that you participate in, or going out and having a coach. Having that accountability piece is huge, and accountability goes 2 ways. And Matt, I know you know this, but accountability goes 2 ways. Those who want it will seek it, and will thrive when they get it. I love being called out. I don't care if it's every single day on, making sure that I do what I said I was going to do. And that is all accountability is living up to your own integrity. It's not somebody else putting a thumb on you. It is you seeking it and living by it, whether it is reporting in somehow or to somebody or somewhere. I have an agent that calls me every single day, and he says, hey, this is what's going to happen today, love you, bye. Because he needs that level of reporting, and I love being that person. I love hearing it. I love the agents who text me every single day to say, I've got an appointment, wish me luck, I'm going for it. And then they send me that, hey, I got it, awesome. Don't hear from me again for 3 days. Okay? It's still being accountable. Somebody doesn't have to reach out and scream in your face to do something for accountability. But make sure you have that accountability piece in place for you. Now,
can I add to that, Jenny?
Yeah.
I read something in the Realtor magazine not about maybe a year ago, but the new trend in real estate are these mega agents who, maybe your team might cover different areas, neighborhoods, parts of the city, state, even the country. And you talk about accountability, and that was something that was real important to us this past year, my business partner and me, and I can't tell you how much stronger that has made me as an agent. So if you have ever considered partnering up with somebody, now is the best time, I think, in our industry to establish a team. It can be a kind of not official, but maybe an unofficial partnership. It's just huge. Everybody has a different style, and everybody brings different things to the table, but if you really want to be successful in real estate and you're like, how can I do this? It helps you not have to make up each day. When you wake up, what you do as a realtor is you make up things to fill out your calendar and make success happen every day. And so I would just say Jenny is a fantastic accountability partner. But, you know, if you've ever thought about partnering up, now is a great time to do that.
Well, and I have to give Earl a shout out. Earl Mooring at Realty South in Birmingham is Paige's business partner. He works Birmingham, and Paige works Lake Martin. And Earl was the first person after our business planning workshop that came in, and here is his. I keep it here because I'm so proud. Right here. And his is on a detailed electronic calendar spreadsheet, and I seriously cried. So Paige is the second person to turn it in, and again, you know, she's not going to let him outdo her.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And that's where the accountability piece comes in.
Yes.
Before we end up saying goodbye, and this has been a great session, I really appreciate you joining us. Please tell everyone, you know, if you have anybody who's looking for any lake property, Paige works for a company that has connections at the lakes all over Alabama and Georgia. So how can people get in touch with you, Paige?
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you, Matt, for facilitating and getting me in here. My website is paigepatterson.com. My company name is Lake Homes Realty. We're lakehomes.com. We're in 4 states and moving fast. We're on about 51 lakes, and I'd love to talk to you about it. Anybody who's looking to buy or sell on any waterfront property, that is our niche. My phone number is 205-616-8046. My email is paige@paigepatterson.com, and I love to work with other agents. This year alone, I think I paid out more than $25,000 in referrals. So if you don't know the lake market, we are here to help, and we'll just let you sit back, make you look like a rock star, and send you a check at the end of closing.
Hey, you can't beat that.
That's right. And Jenny, can you tell us about your new business breakthrough, the Breakthrough Business Planning workshop that's coming up?
Yes, we are going to be having another workshop where we spend 5 hours going through this process so that you can leave with I laugh about budgets, but you can have a good idea about budgets. Agents never really actually ever finish their budgets. But you can leave with your business plan in place. That's December 18th, and it's $49. You can actually register on our website at getarealestatelife.com. And I'm actually going to be traveling the state, putting this workshop on at different places. But for right now, December 18th at our office, it's on a Thursday, and it's from 9:30 to 2:30, and of course, we will feed you. And I also want to say your business plan is easy. Okay, make sure you put it in place and get it on your calendar, and let me know what amazing things that you end up achieving. When you have your quarterly reviews, just to see that you're on track, I want to hear from you that, hey, you're doing it, you're out there knocking it out. Thanks for joining us today. Matt, thank you. And Paige, I love you.
Bye.